Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the S&P 500 micro futures trading day recap or day trading recap that we had today and how much money we made just today in today's session. So let's get it. So as you guys can see here, we have the front month contract pulled up for the micro S&P futures. The ticker symbol for the micro futures is MES. The ticker symbol for the full size trading well, it's actually not the full size, but for the mini version is called ES. For those of you guys who are wondering, so let's go ahead and get into the trades. As you guys can see, we're trading two contracts. Basically, what two contracts would be about $10 for every point move. So, for those of you guys who don't know how futures works, basically, futures works on a tick basis. So one tick is equal to 25-cent move, either up or down. Whereas what's known as a point is a dollar move or a handle. A lot of people use the word handle. I prefer to use point. Would be an entire dollar move up or down, which is equal to a $5 move in either the long or short direction. So with that being said, per contract, we could make or lose $5 per point times 2 points. You're taking a look at making or losing $10 per point. Now, keep in mind, we could trade a lot more volume than this, but we're still currently developing a strategy that we're working on to be effective over the long term. So let's get into the trades. As you guys can see here, these are live entries and or exits. So what exactly are we looking at? Basically, what I was looking at here was, as you guys can see, the price action is kind of sitting below this downtrending line and also below these EMAs, and the EMAs are kind of widening out or fanning out, as some people like to say. So this is a pretty strong indication that the market's going to move down. I don't usually get into the market trading session until roughly around the open. We're on the West Coast, which means that the market open for us would be at 6:30 versus if you're on the East Coast, it would be at 9:30. So if I had gotten in early, I could have actually gotten in, like, let's say somewhere around here. I could have simply shorted this body close below this previous wick here, or like this whole support zone. Shorted, got in at 81, and then boom, made a 10-point move down. So you're talking about $100 or so. But again, we don't trade until market open. That's typically how we like to do it. Sometimes we don't even trade until about 30 minutes after the open because we kind of want to see what the market's going to do. A lot of times when the market opens, keep in mind, futures trades 23 hours a day. So you're still going to get pre-market trading basically from pretty much I would say 3 o'clock the previous day, which is when the markets reopen, all the way until 6:30 a.m. the following day when the US market session takes place. So we'll sit back for 30 minutes and wait to see what it does. But more or less what we were looking at here is, you can see we had a break below this kind of upward support, diagonal support we have here. We got a break below it. We took our entry at about 71.75. It did drop down quite a bit, so we got about a 5-point move in the money, but we did not take profit. We also didn't move our stop down because we like to see the price kind of move to, I would say, at least 60 to 70% of our profit target, and our profit target's usually somewhere around a 2 to 1 to 2.5 to 1 risk rewards. So we're looking to make, like, I'd say 8 points for every 4 points of risk, or 10 points in profit for every 4 points of risk. And so we did not move our stop down. We actually got stopped out for a loss on this one. If we had moved our stop to break even, which honestly probably should have done, then wouldn't have lost any money, but it is what it is. And on the same token, I actually did miss this opportunity here. So I was thinking about getting long here, but I didn't realize how powerful the move was. By the time I did, I missed out on this entire move. Could have just bought the breakout here, had my stop probably somewhere down below the EMAs in this trend line, and then would have made massive profits, but missed out on the opportunity. So sometimes it happens. I'm kind of more or less looking for like a diagonal pullback or like a breakout below what I like to refer to as a flat top or a flat bottom, something like what you guys are seeing here. So a break below these candles or above these candles with some strong volume as confirmation that it's going to move in that direction. So I believe I got in long here above this flat top, or no, sorry, this was actually a bad trade. So I FOMO'd in on this trade thinking it was going to go higher. We got the break above the flat top. I got in late. Kind of an amateur move here, but it happens sometimes. Even the best traders make bad trades. And then we ended up getting stopped out. So we had this pullback here. We got in long on the break of this pullback, which is our typical strategy. And we did end up making a full profit move, I believe. So I'm trying to see here. So the entry was at 89.75. Oh no, sorry. So this trade right here, we got stopped out for break even. So it was kind of bobbing around, not doing much. And then, so the first two trades we lost out on. The third trade we had break even on. The fourth trade we were kind of thinking like once it broke this downward trend here, we were going to get long because it is above the EMAs. So we got long. Didn't realize this was going to form a flat top. So we held our stop down here below all these candles. And we did eventually get the rip up. We moved our stop up to break even once it was about 60+% in the money. And we ended up making 10 points on this trade. So then again, once, as you can see, the EMAs are fanning out here. We're kind of really generally moving up on the 3-minute time frame. The markets are still trading currently because the US session is actually still open. But as you guys can see here on the 15, I mean, we've really had some pretty consistent moves up. So it was pretty obvious to us what direction we were supposed to be trading. So we'll go back to the trades here. So we got in long here, pretty much right at the breakout point. We like to see confirmation candles, meaning a 3-minute close above the downtrend line, but sometimes we just get in prematurely because you'll get something like this candle here, where it just takes off and you don't even get an entry and it's too late. I'm trying to see if that was the one. Yeah, so that is the one. So prior trade here, and then we got in here. And as you guys can see, it moved up pretty quickly, hit our profit target. Then we had another flat top here. So basically, we were looking to get in pretty much at the break of this flat top, which we did. We got in a little bit late, but that's okay. You guys can see it never even came down and touched our stop because our stop is just shy of 4 points. And then it moved up. And at some point, we did end up hitting our full profit target. Well, not quite full. I would say we took about 90% of the trade, which if we had held, we would have got the full profit target. But it was basically hitting major resistance at this point, like a 1 hour, 15-minute time frame resistance. So we decided to just take it off and take the money. We weren't going to try to test it. Before it got up to that price level, we basically did move our stop to break even. So we got our trade entry here, moved all the way up here. By the time it got in this area, we pretty much moved our stop up to break even or just a tick above break even. So that way we could, the trade would basically pay for itself. And then we got out, and it turns out that getting out at that time frame was actually an excellent idea because, as you guys can see, the overall trend reversed completely. We had this massive dump, and as this was happening, we were actually making our yield max ETF dividends for the month of October video. So it was a good thing we got out because, I possibly could have been faked out here and then boom, got shorted on and just got dumped on and lost a bunch of money. Definitely don't want that to happen. So as you guys can see here on our trade performance, we did lose about $75, but we made almost 300. So our net profit is $222.50 for the day. And this is just a couple hours of trading. We are not trading currently. We're probably not going to trade for the rest of the day either because this is actually a pretty good trading day. So now let's go over to the charts and take a look at what exactly I was looking at so you guys can see on TradingView. This is what we use to be able to day trade with while we day trade on our actual platform. So this is kind of what we're looking at here. So as you guys can see, the EMAs were fanning out to the downside. This is the reason why we took our first trade short is because guys can see it got rejected off the middle EMA, broke this downtrend. So we kind of thought like, hey, this thing's going lower. We got a body close down below here, below this previous body candle in the 15. There was no reason for it not to short because the EMAs had retraced enough and it wasn't above the 0 level to where we thought it was going to end up getting dumped more. But then the MACD, which we actually ended up missing, went bullish here just after we got stopped out. So we did not move our stop to break even. We thought it was going to keep dumping lower. We were going to go down below this support zone and this pivot point, but we ended up getting squeezed. It happens. Again, this is why we don't typically like to trade till 7, but we got up pretty early this morning to do this. And then we get this break above this long downtrend line, as you guys can see here, and it was pretty much game over after that. It just went straight up after that, as you guys can see here on all the 15-minute candles, just straight up. When we took this trade here on this area, as you guys can see, the 15-minute had bounced off of this obvious support and pivot point, and it closed above the EMAs and the VWAP. And we were getting a bounce at this point. So we said, okay, you know what? Most likely this thing's just going to go higher. Let's just go long. If we got stopped out, then we could just short again. That's kind of the mindset we had. And we have our support and resistance zones here. As you can see, the green and the red zones we got drawn in here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys the larger time frame on the hourly so you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. So you can see there's kind of a major support zone here. We didn't know if it was going to break or not, but it did end up breaking. Again, we thought it was going to sell through because you guys can see there's some pretty large red candles here, and also you're getting some pretty massive bearish volume coming in. So we kind of thought it was just going to shoot straight through support. It did not. We got faked out, but we were nonetheless keeping an eye on these major levels. So we got this support zone here, this one here, and this major resistance here, which did actually end up turning out to be resistance. We got out of our trade, our last trade, pretty much almost exactly at the top of this candle wick here, as you guys can see. And so, yeah, I mean, once we got above the EMAs and the VWAP on the 15, I mean, it's pretty much game over. We were just looking for pullbacks at this point and breakouts above either a flat top or a kind of a diagonal downtrend bouncing off the EMAs, giving us a confirmation to the upside with some follow-up volume, as you guys can see here. Took this trade on some big volume right here. Took this trade on some pretty significant volume right here and kind of right here. And that was pretty much it. And also same thing on the short. As you guys can see there, the red volume came in pretty strong here. So anyways, this is our video for the day. This is how much we made day trading futures on the day. Just so we have talked about this before. We might make some future videos on this and maybe even some live trades. If this is something you guys are interested in, let us know and we'll try to do some more content for you. But anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and we will see y'all later. Peace.